Well, there are a couple different ways of doing it. As I was discussing earlier, you can certainly cultivate intuition by practicing, which takes a little bit more effort. You really have to have the ability to tap into your body and understand how you're feeling and really pay attention to your body's cues in order to be able to train intuitively. So that takes a little bit more work and a little bit more time, and it's something that happens with practice, right? So like every time you go to lift, you might have a program that you're supposed to do, but having the ability to adapt and knowing that just because that's your program doesn't mean that's exactly what's going to happen
Right.
is a big factor there. So really a lot of it doesn't even have to do with your body. It just has to do with your ability to be okay with saying I'm not going to do this exercise.
Sure.
Which can be challenging sometimes, right? Because like we get like especially with the big lifts like squats and deadlifts, we're like, oh no, I have to do them. If I'm not doing squats or deadlifts, like I'm a pussy and my program sucks, right? Like, but once you let go of that, like I call it having allegiance to exercises. Like once you like release allegiance to exercises, you can have more adaptability and you can feel like, well, today squats don't feel great, so I'm going to do single leg squats instead, or
Right.
I'm going to lunge, or I'm going to do some other exercise that has the same same type of output, but I'm going to do one that's fitting the way my body feels right now. And so that's kind of a scary thing, like being able to adapt like that. You really have to let go of a lot of preconceived notions. But it doesn't just help you in the weight room; it helps you everywhere in life. So adaptability is far and away like one of the number one strategies that I teach just for like lifestyle in general. If you are looking for something a little bit more regimented, like you want to kind of follow an intuitive training practice, a really good friend of mine, Dave Delanave, runs a gym out of Minneapolis called The Movement. And his big thing is biofeedback testing. So if you go to delanave.com, you can find out all about him and his biofeedback methods. But essentially, it's a range of motion testing where you test your range of motion in a certain way, then test the exercise at hand, and if the range of motion improves, then you have a green light. And if it doesn't improve or if it gets worse, then that's a red light. And so I won't attempt to explain his process because it's his process. And he explains it much better than I do.
I should get Dave on the call one of these days. I've been around the biofeedback guys for a long time now, so
Should.
I should get him on. Well, that's fantastic. So I'm interested now in what your typical diet looks like. You said you're hungry all the time. You say you do a ton of strength training. So what does Neghar eat?
I haven't eaten yet today. Um,
Okay.
Almost 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, which my husband says is not real time. He's always says everything in Eastern time because we live in New York, right? So he's like, you're gonna do this. I scheduled you for this interview at noon, and I'm like, okay. So I'm thinking it's noon, and then it's like 9, and he's like, you have that call, and I'm like, it's 9. He's like, yeah, but it's Eastern Standard Time. That's the time that the whole world should be on. So 11 o'clock where I live, and I haven't eaten yet. I typically don't eat breakfast.
Okay.
It's not like a thing like, oh, I fast this many hours or I'm against breakfast. Sometimes I eat breakfast,
Right.
especially if we're on vacation. Like I want to go have brunch or breakfast or whatever the deal is. But I just generally don't eat until after I've trained, and I haven't trained yet today. So whenever I train, then I'll eat, and I usually break my fast with a pretty epic protein shake. So I'm big on protein shakes in terms of breaking a fast because it really helps me take in something that's going to nourish my body without feeling like I'm suddenly ravenous.
Right.
Um, Kind of like takes the edge off. Usually I'll use like BioTrust low carb or Terra's organic whey is a big favorite. And I make like these just amazing protein shakes that aren't like your typical put protein powder in water and shake it up and it's disgusting, right? So
Well, what's your protein shake? You can't just say it's my amazing protein shake and not give us the recipe.
recipes on my website. But some of the tricks that I use in terms of making really amazing protein shakes is I always use avocado because it really makes things creamy and
Hmm.
it's like you're having ice cream almost as opposed to a protein shake.
Wow.
Just like half of a small avocado. Anything more than
Sure.
that, and it's going to taste like avocado.
Right.
But if you just use a little bit, it's pretty amazing. If they're like fruit-based shakes, I like to use things like basil. It's like really unexpected, but when you put basil in a protein shake, it's just like
Hmm.
just takes it up a notch. Fresh lemon is always good, just like a little squeeze in a protein shake. Cucumber is a great addition. Different things that you can do to really kind of just make them a little bit more special. Raw cacao powder and
Oh.
also the nibs. Like once you've blended it, just putting the nibs in there, it's almost like a Wendy's frosty, right? So
You're just trying to figure out how to make milkshakes and call them good, right?
yeah, so that's what I do. And then a couple hours later, I'll usually have like a big salad with like a hefty amount of protein. Or I'll have like a just kind of like whatever we have around the house, hard boiled eggs or whatever protein we have lying around. And then we always have dinner together as family. So that's usually like having like a protein. Protein in our family is always the number one. Like that's how we build everything else around the protein source. So like last night we had, or the night before, it's last night we went out. But the night before we had pulled pork, so I made pulled pork in the crock pot, and then we had some vegetables and just kind of built everything around that. So essentially, I eat mostly a paleo type diet. I don't say that I'm paleo because I'm
Right.
not 100%. Like I just don't follow. I don't really like to follow anything super strictly. I
You
think
don't want to
George
put
Carlin
yourself in a box, right?
I think it was George Carlin said something to the effect of I think of rules as more of like guidelines. And that's kind of how I live my life in general.
Sure.
So I eat a lot of protein. I don't eat grains really hardly ever at all. Dairy very sparingly. A lot of vegetables and pretty much low carb because my body seems to respond best to a lower carb diet. And I kind of just I eat when I want to and I stop when I'm full, honestly.
It's the intuition again that we should all develop, right? To actually listen to our bodies when we're eating food instead of just keep eating more and more and more and more and more and more.
But it takes practice,
Yeah.
not something that just happens automatically. I actually sent out a newsletter today all about that, just like how like my number one effortless eating strategy, because that's really what it is. It's effortless eating, right? It's just like eating when you need to eat, not eating when you don't, and just being like relaxing to it. And so like my email today was just about not cleaning your plate, like why you don't need to clean your plate, and how some strategies you can use to not overeat and to not feel like you have to clean your plate, but you have to practice those strategies.
Absolutely. Well, Neghar, to finish up the call here, I got a couple more quick questions for you. You've been building really a lot of goodwill in the online community. You said you've been blogging since 2009.
Yeah.
That's like 3.5, 4 years of straight blogging.
Uh,
And this is all content stuff. You just do this as a labor of love and to help people. Is that correct?
yeah, when I started the blog, I didn't even think that it would turn into anything. I just did it because I loved writing and I just wanted to share my ideas with the world.
Right, right. That's fantastic. That's the best way to go about things because then people see that you're a transparent person, like you're real. You're not out there just trying to hustle everybody and stuff. But recently, literally this week, you just launched your first ever product, and it looks like you're pretty excited about it. Tell us a little bit about that.
It's been really exciting because it has been a labor of love. It's been a long time coming. It was a really tough year with just in terms of big life changes, all good things, but those kinds of things can kind of make your career take a back seat. So producing the content for Lean and Lovely, which is like it's a 12-week total transformation system, was really challenging because I was
Right.
moving, I was planning a wedding, and all that adjustment, and so it was an exhaustive process that was purely done out of passion.
That's good.
And just like at least just the insatiable desire to get all of these ideas that I had in one place and be able to share them with other women and really be able to make a difference. So it feels incredible to have created something from start to finish.
That's
Like
fantastic. I know that
it,
feeling.
yeah. I mean, it got to the point where I was just like, even if it's not successful, even if people don't buy it, even if like everybody thinks it sucks, it doesn't matter because I made it. Like I made this thing, and it was really exciting. It has been actually had an overwhelmingly positive response so far, and it's only been on sale for the past 2 days. Today will be the third day because the approach is so different. It's not do this diet and you will have this result. It's really about teaching women how to approach their fitness and nutrition endeavors from a place of love, from a place of self acceptance. The whole concept of loving yourself now as opposed to minus 15 pounds from now. So there is an amazing program in there. It's primarily designed around kettlebells as the main tool, but it also is, you're able to substitute any other equipment. And there's a whole section about that in the book. I chose kettlebells because I think that women are very pressed for time. We're all multitaskers, and kettlebells are probably the best tool in terms of efficiency.
Sure.
Um, and also, a lot of us, like for me, I have kettlebells in my garage because sometimes I can't get to the gym, So I chose kettlebells for that purpose because they are really versatile, but I also do understand that not everybody has access to them. So you can certainly substitute any kind of equipment for the exercises. But yes, it does have an amazing 12-week workout program. There's some really incredible mindset, life-changing exercises in there. It's a 99-page nutrition handbook all about learning how to eat mindfully and intuitively. And it's just like jam-packed full of like really amazing things. And although it is going to help you lose fat and build strength and really heal your relationship with food, it really is more of a total transformation system. So it's really about just like healing yourself from the inside out.
That's awesome, Neghar. And ladies, if you're listening to this, I definitely recommend you check that out. I'll post a link below the show. You guys can check out Neghar's system. And on that page, you're going to see a crazy Photoshop photo of Kim Kardashian before and after, and it is nutty. You have to check that out, everybody who's listening, because it'll really bring to light what the industry is doing as far as, tidying people up to make them look nicer. Now, Neghar, I have one quick question for you, all right? I always ask people this is the last question. Obviously, you're a successful blog, you're a successful trainer, you're successful with your life. What's your secret to success?
Oh, okay.
Boom.
Honestly, my secret to success is giving yourself grace. Just like relaxing and going easy on yourself. The only way I've been able to create all the things I've done, to be able to be a mom and build a business and also just like have great relationships with the people that I care about, is because I just don't give myself a hard time about anything. If I can do it, then great. If I can't do it, that's okay too. And just having that ability to know that it's okay to fail has really helped me not fail and be successful.
That's a fantastic piece of advice. Well, Neghar, thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate you coming on the call and sharing your wisdom with us.
Thank you so much for having me.